I can't be halfway in anything. Because kind of towards the end of the year, that's kind of how I felt. So I can't be halfway in anything to do all of the things that I need to do. Does that make sense? Because it takes superhuman effort to do superhuman things. And I'm about doing superhuman things. And so it takes superhuman effort. So I got to be hardcore on Sendvoy, and I got to be hardcore on my development. I got to be hardcore here on this. And if any one of those aren't at the same level, I got to kick it.
Yeah. And I was actually listening to a podcast earlier today, and one of the things that they brought up, it was on the Diary of a CEO, it was being able to be at that level as a business owner. People perceive those people, especially guys, as dickheads because they're like, oh, they're always ruthless. They're always like, go, 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 pedal to the metal. Well, in order to be there, you have to be that. And it doesn't mean that you have to be an aggressive person, like when it comes to emotions or tearing people down. It's hey, if we're going to get here, we got to do this together. And if you're not in there, that's fine. No hard feelings. Just
that's right.
Get off to the side.
It's going to take too much effort for me to have to drag you guys with me. I won't be able to do it. I know it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm dragging you. I'm saying if I have to, I'll just got to back up because I can't do it. And I got to do it with you. We can't do it against each other. That doesn't do any good, right? So if we don't see 2 pieces of content come out every day, I'm going to be reaching out to you, dude. Where's the content? And the other way is, where's my videos, Jerry, on X, Y, and Z? I sent you the shit on them. Where's my videos? Yeah. And you're not going to hurt my feelings, right? I mean, you're just not. Maybe, hey, Matt, I texted you. I told you I couldn't get him today. I got him tomorrow. I missed the text. No problem. I will get him tomorrow like I said I would. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It does, but it's got to be that level. Jerry, where's my videos?
Yeah.
You're right. I have to do a video for the website, for the introduction. It's so good. Those things are so good. I see them, and on the websites where I see them, it's so much more information, so much quicker to understand. I get to see who I am, what I sound like, what I look like. Do you want to come on the podcast with me? Whatever, or I want to come on the podcast with you. It has to get done, right?
Yeah.
I did your other ones the other night. So you got 3 of those to figure out what you want to do with them. Now it's up to you. That's done. But I still owe you shit. And if I owe you shit, you need to be on me. The same as I'm going to be on you. You need to be on me. Let's go.
Yeah. And
or not.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. We're like, here's the bar, but in order to keep the bar, we have to be under the bar holding it up. And if we're not, then just let it go and be fine and be like, okay, cool, but just let me know. So I'm not going to hold this up and just stand here for no dumb reason.
It was Christmas Day. It was Christmas evening after everybody left. Your parents and all that were here, and I was sitting there, and Kathy's like, what's the matter? I was just like, Kathy says, what's the matter? I was like, fuck, remember we went to the mall? I got off work a little bit early a couple of weeks ago, and we went to the mall. And then I looked down, and you're like, are you joining the podcast? I was sitting on Christmas Eve, pissed that I forgot what day it was, and I got off early for a change, and I was like, hey, let's go grab some food up at the mall and kind of watch what the Christmas shoppers are doing. And I'm sitting there, with my thumb up my ass, and you text me. Dude, this was Christmas night, and I'm cussing out of nowhere, and Kathy's like, what the hell's the matter with you? That's what it does to me.
Yeah.
Now, I've been late a few times. I get it. And I don't even like that. But that's what it does to me because I know what I'm supposed to be doing. And when I'm not doing what I need to do, which is create content and build this thing out, then I'm going to get pissed off at myself. So if I'm going to hold myself to that account, you got to be held to that account. And you got to hold me to that account. That's,
got to be locked in like this because tomorrow, back to normal.
Right. Good. All right. And you're taking this in the way in which it's intended, and you just give me the word, dude. If it's too much or we're spiraling out of control, just give me the word.
Yeah. And that's where I was like, being able to be transparent with you. That's the same thing that people listening to this podcast, if you don't understand what we're talking about right now, we are doing 365 podcasts within 2026. And so we have a 1-a-week podcast that we do ourselves, and then Jerry has to get on 200, and I have it on the whiteboard, 265 guest podcasts throughout this year. So we started building this system, and people are like, oh, that's ridiculous. 365 podcasts. You can't do it. Well, challenge us. We're going to go for it. And right now it is day 1 of January 2026. And we are making sure we're all on the same page before we start running. And as business owners, if you don't have that around you, it's going to get very hard if you're doing it all by yourself. And there's so many times that business owners will just be like, I'll figure this out on my own. And they can, but it's a lot slower of a process. And when you have those people around you, so if you don't have a manager or something within your business that you're able to lean on support, not saying that you can't do it by yourself, you can, but you can move a lot quicker with people that are locked in step with you, carrying that momentum all together rather than just carrying it by yourself.
Yeah, and you need somebody to hold you accountable to. Again, Matt and I and Steve keep sending each other these videos back and forth of true, influencers. Guys out there that are fighting the good fight relative to business, that are honest about what it takes, and that it's just an incredible amount of work, and there's no guarantee it's going to pay off, but the one guarantee you're going to have is there's somebody out there that's working harder than you are. And so if you're going to do this, if you're going to build a business from scratch, 0 revenue to something else, you got to ignore all the influencer BS that's out there everywhere, talking about how easy it is, and all you got to do is put out 2 pieces of content, and you too are going to be making $10,000 a week. It's all BS. It takes however long you think it's going to take, it's going to be twice as long, 3 times as long. However much work it's going to take, it's going to be 3 times as long. We're 5-6 months into this. We expected to have a cohort built by now, and we've got 0. So we're literally building it from the ground up. So it's January 1. It's time to go. And I have built companies from 0 to multiples of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. Ultimately, it takes a crazy amount of work. And it's the fun part for me is that I have 3 separate businesses, as I've described earlier, and I got to be all in on all 3 of those businesses. And what I figured out is if one of those businesses are holding me back, the other 2 suffer also, so all 3 do. So either the people I have are in the boat with me and operating at my level, or they're not. And my level means holding me accountable also. This isn't me just sending out dictates. This is everybody, regardless of their station in the company, is saying, hey, boss, you're effing this up, dude. You're not getting this done the way you said to. I can't do my job if you don't do your job. That's the kind of feedback that I want. That's the kind of feedback any good boss should want. That's the kind of feedback any good founder should want. And if you guys are working together to try to build something, this is the way you have to do it. You have to be all in, hardcore. And that's all in on 3 jobs for me. I have one $35 million development I'm working on. I have another 7-figure company that I'm trying to grow 30% that I've owned for 25 years. It's a transportation company, Oregon, Washington, Idaho. And this new Kronos Group, which I want to turn into another 7-figure company. That's 3 businesses. Each one of those jobs is a full-time job. That is not a complaint. That's a reality. And so either I'm doing them 100% each, or they're going to get, 33% each. You can't do that. It's got to be hardcore, hardcore, hardcore. That's the only way to do it. Anyone tells you differently, it's just not true. They probably read something or listened to some video on some influencer who's never done anything but saw something done once, read a book once, watched a video once, is very good at describing it and selling that to you via video. It's intriguing. It's informative. It seems right. It tells you all the things that you want to hear. It's selling you all the right points to get you to come in, only to realize once you dive into the water, it's a lot deeper than they said it was, than they said it is or it was, and you don't know how to swim in that deep water. This is the reality. So right now, we are relative to the Kronos Group, I know how to lead groups. I know how to help people with business. I know how to improve bottom lines. I know how to streamline operations. I know how to do all of those things. I've done it, again, to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars in multiple business. I know how to lose money. I know how to make money. I know how to make mistakes. I know how to do things right across so many different business ventures. Having said that, I don't know how to go out and find other entrepreneurs to come in and do this with us, to sell to them in this digital media and to bring it in. So I'm a neophyte. I am learning as we go. Matt has a bunch of experience with with how this process works and what the process takes, but he's got a full-time job also. And so I need him 1,000% in on this. That means you cut dinner short a little bit. That means you stay up an extra hour late at night. That means that you got to do your day job and then you do your night job if you want to have the things that everyone talks about having, but no one's willing to do that work. And I promise that the person who has the things that you want as an entrepreneur, they didn't get there by working 4 hours a week and making $10,000. They didn't do that. They sacrificed everything. They gave up everything. They put in a massive amount of time, especially in the early days, so that you can go on and you can have those things that you want for you and your family and yourself. I mean, that's just the way that it is. So if you have people around you, this is the problem with partnerships, is sometimes some partners are so strong and other partners you might get aren't as strong. And so you're dragging them along, which does exactly what it sounds like. If you're dragging them, you're not going as fast as you should be going. And so often with partnerships, I've said this a million times, that none of us, you shouldn't have a partner. Generally speaking, you don't need partners. And everybody will tell me, oh, I know this company, they've been together. Yeah, it happens. I know far more people who flamed out with partnerships because as soon as you start making money, everybody starts pointing fingers. And usually in that environment, there is one person who does the majority of the work. That's usually the case. And so knowing that, how much does it slow people down if you're having to drag with you the other people? That can be the problem with the partnerships. And those partnerships fall apart because people don't communicate. They go home and they talk to their wife about how the brother-in-law that they started the business with is screwing him over, and he left early to go pick his kids up, and he went on a vacation, and we're not even making money, and he doesn't work half as much as I do, and the wife's back in his ear talking about, oh yeah, I never knew that guy was a loser, and and then the other guy's going home and saying exactly the same thing to his wife and to his buddies about his brother-in-law screwing him over. This is the nature of the business because no one can have these adult conversations. You have to have adult conversations in business, especially if you're going to have partners. So it's important if you don't have partners. 1,000% is something that you have to do. If you have partners, it is important to jump right on top. You might seem like an a-hole. You might seem like that guy that nobody wants to do business with. You can't sweat it. Matt and I, when we came on this call tonight, I didn't jump down Matt's throat. I was just like, dude, because I'm up here. I'm up here right now. This is where I'm operating. If I fail, it's going to be from up here. I am not going to fail from down here. Why? Because I have failed from down here many times. Because I didn't bring it up here. So I failed. Okay? If I'm going to fail, it's going to fail from up here. And so I can't do this Kronos Group without Matt. So Matt and I have had long conversations about what we want to do. And so Matt and I agree as adults that we're going to fail from up here. That means Matt might have to cut his dinner short. He might have to work late. He might have to put in the effort and the time because we got to do it from up here. Now, hopefully up here turns out real handsome. And we do. We have a great time. And we build business. And we go into different directions. And we continue to add on it like I have done in the past. And we just hammer this thing. But he understands what the expectation is, and I understand what the expectation is. And if we're not hitting them, we are hitting each other over the head, and the person getting hit understands he screwed up. Not, my wife really needed me to take her out to dinner tonight, or the kids were, acting up and it wasn't a good setup, or, I forgot I had this other appointment, or whatever, because now you're taking my time. And if you're taking, and I'm not, this is more of a partnership conversation. I'm using Matt and I as an example. Matt's always available. But, many times I'll text Matt at 11 o'clock. I'm like, dude, are you up? And I'm sure Matt's like, oh, man. What do you
my freaking uncle, dude.
Dude, 8 out of 10 times he answers. But conversely, Matt will be like, boom, I'll get an announcement on my phone saying I need this code. I'm like, I'll turn to my wife. It's 11:45 at night. And I'm like, check it out. My boy's up, needs a code for logging into whatever, and it's coming across on my phone. I'm like, money's hardcore. And if Matt asked me to call him right then, he's getting a phone call. And I don't care what I'm doing. I don't care where it's at. If I'm sitting on the couch doing nothing, I'd much rather be talking to Matt. 9 times out of 10 at 11 o'clock at night, what am I doing, Matt, when you text me?
Sitting at your computer doing this.
Sitting right here, working for the 12th or 14th hour out of the day. So That is what it takes to start a business. If you're going to have a partnership, you have to communicate and be hardcore. If you don't have a partnership, but you have people you work with, you got to communicate and be hardcore. Maybe if they're employees, you don't come quite on as direct and maybe as straightforward as I did as the conversation Matt and I have had tonight, or the way that I'm talking to you guys for this video, for this podcast, but it still has to be, everyone knows what that expectation is, so that you don't go home and go, oh, my general manager screwed me because he didn't do X, Y, and Z. Go tell the general manager he didn't do that thing that you're unhappy about. And if he can't take that, that is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. It will not get smaller. And you guys will get further and further away. The more key man the person is, the more important it is that you are having real conversations, right? Matt is my partner in this. So if I want to jump down Matt's throat about this and get all aggressive, I can. I know Matt. We've known each other our entire lives, or certainly I've known Matt his entire life because I'm so much older than he is. But you get my point. If Matt's upset, if he doesn't like the way I'm coming at him, he is free to say, dude, check yourself. And then, okay, I'll do that. But with an employee, you don't go to that length. But you can still got to be right up front, and you got to have real conversations. And I'm telling you guys, any entrepreneur listening to this, you are not alone. You are like everyone else when you are commiserating about this employee or that vendor or this thing or that thing or my partner to your close family, friends, wife, husband. That is not uncommon. So the only way around this for me, when you are building something like what Matt and I are trying to do, or any business, it's got to be hardcore. It's got to be 100%. And honestly, I've not been as hardcore as I need to be for this first 6 months. I have other things, I have other business, but I've had a few days off. The New Year's kind of that reset, which is retarded, but it is what it is. Mm-hmm. And so Matt and I have had multiple long conversations, hours-long conversations over the last few weeks leading kind of up to this. I got 365 podcasts to get on. We're trying to get 3 new people into the cohort in January. I don't know how in the hell we're going to do that. We need to run ads. We need to learn a ton more about SEO and AIEO in order to maximize what we're doing there. I got a laundry list of stuff to do there. Meanwhile, I'm trying to sell my truck that's running backwards from Idaho to Oregon empty. It's full going one way. It's I don't know, 10% full coming the other way, so I'm losing money by not having, free stuff on that truck. I could undersell the whole market to get that. I got to get that taken care of. I got some route stuff going on. I got a big medical thing that I'm trying to work on that business. I got a development that's been in the development for 13 years that I can't get off the ground because the government keeps hosing me at one step or another. I'm going to write about that. I'm going to inform people about what's going on there. I got legit things to be doing, and I need to do them all this high. Well, Jerry, how do you do 3 things at this level? I've done it before. It can absolutely be done. The only person that stops me from doing it is me. So I know how important my partners are in this endeavor, and I need everybody to be at my level. Because if they're not at my level or surpass me, hell, I'd love people to, Matty, come up here and go, dude, what do you... Let's go. And I'm like, holy, okay, I need to ratchet this thing up. This homeboy's crazy. He's calling me at 2 in the morning. I would love if Matt's like, I couldn't sleep, dude. I'm not working tomorrow. I'm going to go in late or whatever. So I'm up. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. So, okay, let me clean my eyes out. What's the word, Matt? What do you need? Well, dude, you need to be in front of your computer. All right. You know why I know that? Because I've done this my entire life. My wife wouldn't be surprised. She wouldn't even wake up. I have answered the phone at 3:30 in the morning. I answer every phone call like I've been up. People have called me at 3 in the morning and go, dude, were you up? And I go, of course I am. I was waiting for your call. Because when you're the boss and something terrible happened, you got to deal with that problem. The truck's not running, the thing's not doing, somebody got in an accident, somebody didn't show up, the door's unlocked, the place got broken into, something's on fire, whatever it is. So if you lament this, if this is a problem for you, if it's onerous for you like it is for so many people, you're going to fail. You're going to have a very, very difficult time getting that company off the ground and or sustaining it and growing it if you're not willing to take on these responsibilities. It's just reality. So when I talk to Matt and I talk to Steve and I talk to other entrepreneurs, I'm talking from hardcore reality. If you have an example of somebody who has done it different, good for you. But I'm telling you, I have 1,000 examples and I've never seen it. So if I have 1,000 examples, including my own, and I've never seen it, chances are I have a very good idea on how this process works. And it requires phone calls and work at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you do it happily. And I'm glad to do that because you are contributing to my child's education, the well-being of my family, my own well-being, and my wife taking care of the people that work for me. All of those things together coalesce around what level are we working at. And we can't do well unless we're up here. And Matt and I don't think we've not been purposely not working up here, but I know I've not. I've been kind of just muddling and just enough. And realistically, down here is probably more than most people will do. For both
I was about
Matt
to say
and I.
that. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're probably doing more than most people ever would. But I don't know, Matty, push back on me, but I kind of feel I've been here. I kind of feel like we've been here.
Yeah, and that's where the 365 podcasts and 2 pieces of content a day get us up to that next level.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I remember talking to you about this a few nights ago, but I want this thing to work because my future depends on this. And to your point, if you're in a partnership, your future or potential future or amazing future and the value of a business depends on the partner as well.
Yes.
And if they're not there, well, then you're going to try to build your future. Great. And you can keep going, but it's going to be really hard and really tough. And that's where I've had conversations with my wife and saying, I don't want to work at like corporate all of my life. I don't. And that's the reason I wanted to take this jump with Jerry and Steve, my dad, was because I wanted to have something that's my own now. And I've worked for enough people to see what they have when it's their company and I'm working for them to be like, all right, I got to flip that switch now. But in order to flip that switch, people are like, oh yeah, it's just easy. Just go up and flip the switch. No. If you want to flip that switch and go from a 9-to-5 job, make good money, be happy, have your afternoons, have your evenings, have your weekends, all that stuff, and that's what you want, awesome. I'm just not wired that way. And if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, people in today's society, when we see $1 million, it's flashed around on social media so much that there's multi-million-dollar influencers and brand deals and all this stuff. And people are like, man, they're making millions all over the place. Those are just highlights. They're not all real when it comes to day in, day out stuff. And so part of our new initiative moving forward with the Kronos Group and doing the 365 podcast, we just put up a video yesterday on our YouTube. It was literally Jerry and I the other night talking through what we're going to do this year and then how we're going to do it. Those conversations are not shown on social media. You see the $1 million and people are like, oh yeah, that company or that person has he's made $10 million. It is hard to make $1 million a year as a business owner in actual revenue. And if you're doing that, it's amazing and you're doing a good job and you just keep ratcheting the bar higher. But if I were to have conversations with those people, just like Jerry, who's had multi-million-dollar businesses, these are the kind of conversations I have to have with Jerry. And if you think that you're just some Joe Schmo off the street and you're going to go and start your own business next year and it's going to be a multi-million-dollar business with no understanding of actually how to make money and how to sustain it and how to draw in employees, how to provide overhead, benefits, all this other stuff. It's mind-boggling for me because I see the social media posts and I don't even engage with them anymore. I just scroll past them. And it's not because it's bad content. It's just because I don't want to put in my head this false understanding of this is actually how easy it is and what I'm doing is a lot of hard work and I won't have to do this forever. I don't want to think that way. I want to think, hey, if we're 6 o'clock, it's on Thursday, we're doing the podcast. If it's a meeting, if it's a 3 a.m. call, wake up, acting like I was already ready for it. Hey, what can I help you with? And so you have this understanding, Jerry, because you've built this understanding because you've done it for so many years now. And I feel like, especially with my generation and younger, they almost have this false identity of how to make money and how to sustain it, especially within being a business owner, not just building a product and then selling that product to some company and then you're done. No, building an actual business with people that depend on you to survive. Mm-hmm. And that's a totally different perspective than making some widget and then selling that to Amazon because they know they can sell it and distribute it way faster than you ever could. So they'll just pay you $10, $15 million and then you're done. Well, I'm a $15 million exit founder. Tell me about that business. Break down that business. Who did you have working for you? How many hours did you put in? Maybe at the beginning to build the product or whatever you did, you put in a lot of hours. But now what are you doing? And that's where I see a lot of, I wouldn't say master classes or advice or communities being built with people that have that kind of mindset because they did exit with so many millions of dollars and made money. But the difference between the Kronos Group and those other groups is that we're in the trenches doing this every day. And when you show up as a Kronos Group member, we're right there with you, figuring it out in real time and helping each other along the way, rather than being like, well, I did this in the CPG category and made my millions and this is how I did it. Good luck. That's what I see. And It drives me nuts. It's everywhere. Right. And you have a completely different identity because you've been doing it for so long to see what it actually takes. And so I'm hoping people that listen to this podcast, especially entrepreneurs or business owners, it's not that we're trying to beat ourselves up and trying to do something that's the impossible. It's not impossible, but it takes a insane amount of work, and you will question yourself so many times along the way. That's us as humans.
This would be a lot easier if we didn't have other jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. But that's not the world. So all you entrepreneurs, if you think that you're going to save up enough money, every star is going to align, the world is going to get in that order that you want before you jump and go do it, you will be 50 years old having never done anything. So the reality is that you have to just start. If you have that identity or you make that decision, if you have that idea and you want to go execute that idea, the time to go execute that idea is now. It's now. So we all think we need more of this and more of that. Matt and I, we say this all the time. We're going to say it again and again and again. Matt and I, for all of our knowledge, have learned more in the last 4 or 5 months than we knew coming into this about what this is going to take to do this. So I have a ton of information about building and selling and running and starting and losing and growing and profitably exiting businesses. Matt has a ton of knowledge about marketing and building websites and digitally doing things and email lists and funnels and all of the rest of the things that go into SEO and all the rest of it. And with all of that knowledge, we have learned more, at least I think this is true. Matt, don't let me put words in your mouth, but to a great extent, we know so much more today than we knew 4 months ago, 5 months ago, because we tried and failed and learned and sat there with no one showing up, no emails getting answered, no movement whatsoever, nowhere closer to where we were than when we started, only to go, oh, we didn't know this. Only to go, oh, we didn't know that. Only to go, that thing we knew that we did all of this work on, it's no good. Time to go. You got to go try it again. We got to go try and build it differently because we have new information on what we thought we knew coming in and where we are now. You're not going to experience that unless you're trying. And I mean trying to put something together. You can't plan. You can't pre-plan all of that and go, I'm going to learn this, and I'm going to learn this, and then I'm going to learn this, and then I'm going to learn this. And then once I have all of that learned and I have all of those things done, now I'm going to go execute. It's not the way the world works because you will do all of that, only get to this point, go start and figure out it's 1,000 times harder than you thought because theory rarely translates into reality. And so understanding that the best thing to do is to save all that time, move it all the way back here, and when you were doing all that planning, you're starting. so that when you get back over here, you're this much smarter because you learned it practically. You learned it in the field. You have actual experience over these months as opposed to what you believe to be the case based on what you've read and what you saw and what programs you've listened to and what podcasts you've watched and what groups you ascribe to that explain to you how all of this happens. Again, always selling you the easy way out because who the hell buys the hard way? We're here to sell you the hard way because it's the only way I've ever seen it that it gets done. So Matt is 100% right, and I feel the pressure of wanting Matt to do well, so much so that a lot of my drive comes from what I want to have happen for him. And so I've experienced the ups and downs on a massive level, more than most any other entrepreneur will. I'm a very select few that have done this at my level, that have succeeded at my level and have failed at my level. And so I have this unique experience. Matt doesn't. I want to experience that with Matt as Matt grows his family and does the thing that he's doing and feel what that feels like to get those first customers and start to build it. And then 2 years from now, you don't even recognize what it was today or however long it takes to do that. So I put that pressure on myself, and that's where it comes from, where I start the conversation off saying, dude, we got to go. We got to go nuclear. We're down here. We got to be up here. And it's as simple as the podcast is at 6 o'clock on Thursday. So either we're here or we're not. But if we're not, it's reflective of a bigger problem because it's not a priority. Yes. And if it's not a priority, then it's not going to happen because that little thread gets pulled and pretty soon the sleeve falls off. Pretty soon the sweater comes undone with that little tiny thread. How do I know that? Because I've been here and I have done this and I have failed. I mean, not only in this realm, this digital realm, but from a business perspective. I know exactly, I recognize it immediately because I have been through it. So I will preach this from the rooftop so all entrepreneurs understand that some of us are born for this and to do this. Because with all of this kind of, I don't know, almost doom and gloom, I don't know, all this, good God, dude, why would anybody ever do this sort of thing, conversation that we're having? I'm telling you, man, I'm sweating.
My heart's racing right now.
I have my window open in my studio office here. I have the window wide open. It's 45 degrees outside. I've got one shirt on, and I'm sweating because I'm so excited. Just having this conversation's got me jacked up on Mountain Dew. I'm ready to go because we're not going to lose for not putting in the effort. And it takes effort, whatever the business is. This digital one that we're trying to do, my physical ones that I have done in the past, gas stations, car washes, convenience stores, transportation companies, development companies, build houses, flipping houses, buying houses and flipping those houses, whatever it might be, rentals, you name it, I've done it, lost money, woodworking businesses, man, did I take a bath on that business. You name it, I've done it, and I've lost money or made money trying to do it, but the rules are the same, and that is up here. Yeah. Got to be up here.
Yeah.
So that is the context of this podcast today, is to say it's January 1st. Maddie, try to get this podcast out quick as you can so we don't get too far away from January 1st. But it's January 1st. This is what we are doing in growing not only this podcast, but also the Kronos Group business, peer-to-peer group that we've put together for businesses doing under $25 million a year, where we can help entrepreneurs grow that business, make more money in the existing business, streamline its operations, maneuver around potholes, miss the grenades that might blow you up, all help you improve your bottom line, help you improve that middle line administratively, employee-wise, whatever it is, a plethora, a massive amount of information is at my fingertips and at the fingertips of a group of 8 guys, 10 guys sitting around the table one time a month talking about their business, and everybody going back and forth, and then each member sits back and goes, my God, I had no idea that is a reality. I have that same problem going on. You mean he has the same problem I do? But now, wait. Listen, he had the same problem. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's how he fixed that problem. Oh my God, I've been trying to find a fix for that problem. Or, this is even better, I have that same circumstance. I didn't realize it's a problem. Listen, what is he saying? I'm telling you, I saw that happen dozens of times over 20 years in my group, where You didn't know you had the problem till you heard somebody else fix the problem they had in their business and what it cost them. So now you're in front of it. What's the value of that? You join one of these groups, right? You listen to these masterminds. Okay, they're great. That's fine. And I think those places are important. You get together with people that are like-minded, things of that nature. But your group needs to be one. If you're an entrepreneur, your group needs to be the one where you are getting direct one-on-one feedback. Now, I want to say that again. Direct one-on-one feedback from somebody, the chairman of the group and or somebody else in the group. I don't see a lot of value in my 30 years of doing this and hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. I've never seen a lot of value in joining a group of 200 people on a call where I listen to somebody give me a speech about something I've heard a speech about many times. I get the raw nature of it. I understand that getting together with groups like that and hearing other people have the same sort of issues that you have and being incentivized and inspired and motivated to go jump back into your business, to jump on issues not related to the message that you heard, but just provide you motivation to go jump in there and take care of them. There's value in that, 1,000%. I'm not going to say otherwise. But if you're one of 200, if you're one of 2,000, if you're one of 25,000, I promise you, you're not going to get a lot of value in your day-to-day running your businesses the way that you would if you joined a group like our group, shameless plug, the Kronos Group, the whole point and reason why we're here, but other groups just like that. And that is get in the room with 8 to 10 guys who have businesses like yours or unlike yours, that are doing revenue like yours or not unlike yours, but that have been through the ringer and can sit around a table for half a day talking about what's going on. And then on top of that, you get an hour with me on top of that meeting. So you're talking about 6 hours a month at most. And it is a deep dive into your business and other people's businesses, which is only an education to you, and then a one-on-one with me for an hour to really dive in. You can hear it in my voice. You can understand my intensity. I care about businesses doing well. That's my passion. I love business, and I am passionate about business. So I saw these things be so valuable. So I want that for all of you. I want that for all entrepreneurs. I want you to go find a group just like that. Find a mentor. That's the other thing, the kronosgroup.org, Kronos, kronosgroup.org. There's a little button right down there. You can hook up. Right, Matt? We got a button. They can come have a meeting with me for 15 minutes or something. It doesn't cost nothing. It doesn't cost anything. It's free. Just go in there, sign up. What do you have to lose? Nothing. Obviously, I'm trying to fill cohorts, and I want you to come in and be a part of the business. But at the same time, I'm happy to talk to you about your business. Chances are maybe you're not a good fit. But chances are maybe you're not big enough. Maybe you're only doing $500,000 a year. You want to be talking to somebody like me if you're doing $500,000 a year. You want somebody like me on the to text with and to talk with and to build a relationship with it. I'm not talking saying that I know everything. I'm saying like me. If it's not me, find somebody else. But what do you got to lose by having a conversation with me about your business? And let's see. And maybe we grow you into the size of company that needs something like the Kronos Group. So all of this is to build that. And that is my encouragement to you entrepreneurs. Week in and week out, we're going to be talking about this, the reasons why becoming a member of a group like this is so important. It cannot be understated. The wisdom of the crowds is a well-known phenomenon throughout time. Anybody watched Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, that show from a few years back? And anytime they went out and asked the crowd was always right. The crowd was never wrong. So 60, 70% crowd out, no matter how esoteric, no matter how far out the question was, no matter how unreasonable or how in the hell does anybody even know that, it always got 50.1% or more went to the crowd. That's called wisdom of the crowds. And so in a group like the Kronos Group, as an entrepreneur, you're getting in a group with 8 to 10 guys, the wisdom of the crowds. And then you get somebody with my experience to come with you every week or every month for an hour to kind of push all that together and say, this is what we're trying to get done. You guys, let's do that. You got nothing to lose by calling me. Let's do it. Set it up. Simple 15-minute phone call. I have them all the time. Let's have more. I've had a lot of them about health and fitness and things of that nature over the years. I've talked to hundreds of business owners over the last 15, 20 years. Let's add you to it. Maybe you're a good for becoming a member of the Kronos Group. Maybe it's too early for you. It's just not your jam. Maybe you're not a good fit for us. We can figure that out in the conversation. But at least you're reaching out and trying to do better. And that's the most important thing that you can be doing. And it absolutely made me my fortune and helped me avoid losing more of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As to your point earlier, Jerry, when you were talking about the first few months for us, and one of the things that we did do was a webinar. And I think it was like in September. And I still have the photo, and I'll definitely keep it. I want to eventually print it out and frame it, because when we put this out, we were like, oh, we'll have people sign up. We'll have maybe like 10, 15 people. That'd be great. Like just even that.
Only,
yeah.
Right.
We show up and it's just me, Steve, and Jerry. And it wasn't a setback. It was a call to action for me, because it wasn't as easy as they say on social media to just get leads, and all these people are paying customers. You just got to get them in the right direction, in front of the right voice, and they'll convert. It's like, yeah, no, it takes a lot more building than just that. And going into 2026, this podcast thing, to your point earlier, or just now, when you were talking about entrepreneurs out there having a phone call with you, even if it's 15 minutes, I want to open that up for even more. And I want to redo that webinar. We do it for 1 hour, and you jump on, we'll record it, and we'll do it live.
29th, Thursday, the 29th.
Thursday the 29th, yeah.
Right? I'm not checking that date. It is Thursday the 29th?
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at. Yeah, Thursday the 29th.
Thursday the 29th.
Mm-hmm.
Put it down.
Yeah, even for some people, they'll listen to the podcast and they'll be like, he's probably busy or something. No. Now there's going to be another opportunity. It's going to be full hour. You can ask any of those business questions directly with Jerry, directly with me on the marketing side, directly with Steve on the sales side. We'll show up, and it is a free, open platform for you to be able to just have those questions and have those conversations with us. And then after that, if you want to learn more about the Kronos Group, or you want to book a call for a consultation, we'd be more than happy to send that directly to you, or even text it to you, like whatever is easiest for you, and have those follow-up conversations to get you in this kind of group. Because to Jerry's point, being an entrepreneur and doing it alone, it's miserable. And you need the right people in the right room and the wisdom of the crowd to really ignite a fire in you that's really in there. It's just embers right now. Mm-hmm. It's slowly burning. So you're technically a quote unquote entrepreneur, but you know you're capable of more. And I knew I was capable of more, but I didn't really ignite that until I started this business with Jerry, who has 30 plus years of experience way beyond me of business and entrepreneurship. And those wake up calls of saying, that man's working on this. That man's done it. How he's done it, I don't know. I'm going to learn from him. And that is the same philosophy that I'll take into each Kronos Group cohort as we build them out. And I'm hoping that those members in those cohorts utilize that just as much, because when it's one thing to be sitting here building a business by yourself, it's another thing to be building business with others or getting a business advice from others. I look forward to these conversations. I look forward to getting on the podcast with Jerry. It's not because I'm like, oh, I just get to be able to talk about business. It's like, no, I know there's valuable information that's going to be exchanged, and I want to hear that. And if I don't apply that, then that's my fault. But at least I've heard it. And there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there that are like, well, I've never heard that before. That's fine. Get into the rooms where you'll hear more of those I never knew that existed moments will happen. Mm-hmm. because that's where you can really take it up a whole nother notch, because now you're like, well, if he was able to do it and he did it this way, well, then I just got to do this much more work. I got to be able to put in this amount of hours. I got to find these kind of people. I think I can do it. Okay. Now the accountability part of the group, which is what I'm really excited about, because we had this idea of the Kronos Group, but if it wasn't for our consistency and pushing through and those 11 p.m., 1 a.m. texts and phone calls, we wouldn't be here right now doing this. We would still probably be like, we'll just put out a podcast in a couple of weeks. And So for you entrepreneurs out there listening, and your business, being in these rooms will keep you consistent, because those people will be checking in on you. I'll be checking on you. Jerry will be checking in on you and saying, hey, you said you were doing this. Now it's next month. How's that going?
Yep.
And there's no room to run. There's no room to be like, well, it was a tough time for my family. That's fine. Whatever it is. But if you're in a room with us, there's always excuses. But when you're able to look at yourself and be like, no, I just didn't do it.
Yeah.
And own it.
It doesn't matter if you're a successful business. In fact, I think that even as a successful business, it is even more important to come into a group, because I lost more money when I was making the most money than I lost money when I wasn't making money. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. So when I was making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, I was probably costing myself $70,000 to $80,000 a month. But what did I care? Because I was making $250,000 every month. So life was good. But the reality was that the more money I made, the more I needed somebody looking over my shoulder, holding me accountable, because the more I thought my stuff didn't stink, the more I thought I was smarter than I was, that I couldn't be outwitted, that I couldn't make mistakes, which is, of course, when I made my biggest mistakes. And again, it took me, I don't think I ever got back to making $250,000 again for 6 or 8 years. It took me to dig out of that hole. And so even when you are doing well, it's important to find a group that you can connect with and be held accountable and set that ego aside. This is why I say a Kronos Group member is not a for sure thing, because it's going to take a specific kind of personality, because not only do you have to be willing to hear good, positive feedback, even though it might be negative. Even negative feedback is positive. Something you don't want to hear. You got to be willing to hear that. But then also you have to be able to have a conversation and to provide your own feedback when you see a problem in a way that's constructive. It might be critical, but it's also constructive, because the group, again, is the wisdom of the crowds. And so it's not for everybody, but it is for entrepreneurs, successful, middle of the road, trying to get there, or just starting out or struggling. It's not just for the bottom end that are struggling and need some sort of lifeline. It is for all sorts of companies across the board, because there's always money to be made. I was on a podcast with a lifelong entrepreneur a couple of weeks ago, and when I said that I've never met a business that I couldn't help improve their bottom line 5 to 10%, his answer was, at least. He said, I bet if you come into my business, you're going to find 10 points. And I said, I bet if you come into my business, you're going to find 10 points. We know this. Experienced entrepreneurs know this, because so much of what being an entrepreneur is you're digging out of a hole, a grave, and you throw it up over your head, and you can't see out. You need somebody outside of that hole kind of directing you what direction you should be going, because you're buried into it. And so that is absolute reality, and that is why a group like the Kronos Group, and so many of them like them, are so important across the spectrum of businesses, starting out, struggling, middle of the road, would like to make more money, just making a living, just breaking even, just losing a little bit, and companies that are doing well. Across the board, there's money to be made. And being held accountable is critical to making that money. Forget about somebody looking at your business through a set of eyes that you don't have, simply because you are inside of it. And that's really the critical part. So we're talking about selling, making money. Okay, one of the arguments is, it's too expensive. And it is. Right? This group is $1,250 a month. It's cheap. If you are a less than $25 million business, this amount of money, if you are a $1 million business, $1,250 a month with me and the Kronos Group and Matt and Steve will be the best money you will spend. I promise. If it's not, you just move on. But if you aren't trying, you are failing. There's groups that are a whole lot more expensive. We may not be as polished as you're used to seeing. I always question how we deliver this message. But the reality is that I'm just too straightforward. I'm just too straight a shooter to try to make this thing prettier and improve the aesthetics of it. I mean, we worry about lighting and things of that nature and the sound and make sure it's good. But again, cutting professional commercials and the words exactly that we use and how hard do we sell the upside and not the downside and all the rest of this. I don't know what the answer to that is necessarily, because it feels like it goes against every piece of advice I've ever given to any company struggling or making money, which is how I'm talking to you guys. Straight, direct, no BS, no fancy words, no corporate speak. I'm not touting any kind of industry specifics or any of the rest of that. I'm just saying, sit down, have good, hard conversations on a regular basis is going to have significant value to your companies. So that's what I want for everybody. That's what we're selling. That's what we're trying to put together. We're trying to figure out how to get the word out. We got the technology down. We got the knowledge down. We got the communication down. We feel pretty good about that. But that's why these are not as polished as what you might be looking at from the Vistages of the world and all of our other big competitors, because I'm 100% on the ground helping you with the problem you're having in your business, known or unknown, today, so that you can get up tomorrow morning and go fix it. No mastermind group is going to help you that way. And that's the critical part to getting richer. If I can save you $100,000 a year, if I can make you $100,000 more a year, if I can help you avoid a $100,000 problem or $1 million problem, which I can, which I'm confident I can, I've done it many times before. If I can grow you 10, 15, 20% a year through a group like the Kronos Group, what's the value relative to the $1,250 you're going to pay me and the company to be in that group? Cheap. The education you will get is cheap. That's why I'm putting it out there. This is what the group costs. Might blow you away. You might think it's too early. I'll give you advice I got early on. You can't afford not to. You can't afford not to put in the time, half a day, once a month. You can't afford not to spend $1,250 a month on this continuously, month after month, year after year, because it'll be the cheapest education you will ever get. And the value, if you let it work, will be overwhelming. Now, last thing I'm going to say, don't listen to me. You got AI, all multiple kind of, I like Grok myself, but y'all use whatever you're going to use. ChatGPT is a little too woke for me. Whatever AI you like, Gemini's really good. It's come a long way from Google. Try that again. Try that one. But whatever one that you want, whatever one you use, plug it in. Go do the research. Have it do a deep research. And it will come back, and I promise you that it will tell you everything that I have experienced over the last 25, 30 years in one of these groups. It will tell you studies show, statistics show, testimonials show, history shows, all of it. There's a reason why these big companies have these hundreds of thousands of members in these groups where everybody gets together once a month and has these conversations. The difference is you're getting me and my groups that we're putting together one-on-one. You're getting the wisdom. I operate 3 companies right now. One, like I said, a development company that's tens of millions. Another one that's 7 figures. And a third one, this Kronos Group, that we're just starting up. It's 3 businesses that I have that I'm operating right now. So I'm in the fight right there next to everybody else. You're not going to find that at a Vistage. You're not going to find that at these other big competitors. You're going to find professional coaches that are running these groups, that are hired to come in and run these groups, and they may have experience, or, and this is more the case, they're just trained to be a coach. So they've never signed a paycheck. They've never turned that paycheck on its face and written their name on the front of it. They've never risked. They never sacrificed. They've never stayed up late. They've never gotten up early. They've never worked, 100, 200 days in a row. They've never done the 18-hour day. They've never done any of those things. They've never ran home to put their kids to bed, to wrestle a little bit, to make sure that the kids know that they love them and see them, only to turn around and go back to work for another 3 or 4 hours before getting back up at 6 o'clock in the morning and doing it all over again. They don't know what it's like to make a $200,000 payroll on Monday and you don't have the money in the bank on Friday. You want someone like that has done that and has been there helping you, guide you, instruct you, point things out for you, in a way that you want that feedback so that you can go make money. So that your business runs better, so that maybe you get more time for yourself. Maybe your perception is brought back into line. Maybe perspective is changed for you in how you look at the business. A group and the wisdom of the crowds combined with my experience directing and leading it will do that for you guys. So this is as much a labor of love as it is we want to make money. 1,000%. Not hiding that. No other company's hiding that. Matt wants to make money. I want to make money. But I only make money and Matt only makes money if we're selling you a product that you find value in. And the value is in all of that information that's in my head and my experience and the wisdom of the crowds in the group and being able to extract something from that. So that's what we're trying to do. We turn this podcast into a kind of a here's what we're going to do and then to an hour-long commercial. But that really is a good breakdown on and my opinion on what people need to do. So if you have listened to this podcast this long and you are an entrepreneur and you haven't gone to the Kronos Group, KRONOS.org website and clicked that button and signed up for 15 minutes to have a conversation with me to see if anything's a fit, even though you don't think you qualify, even if you don't think that you need it, it's a 15-minute conversation. I cannot tell you how many times in my life simple conversations have turned into something big. And most of the time, they're conversations I didn't want to have. I didn't want to make the phone call. I didn't think I needed it. I think it was beneath me. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I can't tell you how many different procedures or I should say how many different approaches to business, things that I have changed or learned came from the places that I didn't think I needed to hear it. I didn't think they could help me at all. So many. So pick the phone up, have a conversation, cost you 15 minutes. Maybe we leave friends. Maybe we leave acquaintances. Maybe we leave doing business together. You don't know, but it certainly can't hurt. And if it's not us, find somebody else. All right, Maddie, it's that time. For all entrepreneurs, I say this over. I have had this conversation 3 times this week with people, twice in the sauna. Entrepreneurs. Opportunities are everywhere. You've got to go get them. And that is absolutely critical. Yes, I made that up completely. I've been saying it at the end of my podcast for years now, but it's 100% true. And there's nothing fancy. There's nothing, some amount of wisdom that I was born with, an extra 20 IQ points so I could come up with something like that. Nope. That is simple. Every entrepreneur knows it that's had any success whatsoever. They are everywhere. You just have to go find those opportunities. So that's why we end the podcast every week with opportunities are everywhere, and that's why I want you guys to go out and search for those opportunities. Start with a 15-minute phone call. We can help you find them.